Hello everyone, Master Pravus here. Welcome back to Mod Break. And as the title suggested, we have a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con drift issue. Red Vinyl Kitty's been playing a lot of the new Animal Crossing, and we suddenly had the issue where the Nintendo Joy-Con, specifically our left one, is drifting. Here. Let me get a little footage up and I'll show you exactly what's happening. As you can see, Red Violent Kitty's character is walking on its own. The controller, I'm not moving it. The kitty is walking on her own. What we're going to do is, I've ordered a Joy-Con repair kit on Amazon. This is it. It's the Vionic 2-pack replacement joystick for Joy-Con with tools. It was like 15 bucks, 13 bucks, something like that. It was like less than 20 bucks for this kit. It's given me 2 Joy-Con joysticks. That means if the left and right were broken, I could do both. Or if I make a mistake and I damage the one on the left, I have a spare. This kit also comes with all the tools you'll need to do the project. A pretty great price. I'm going to set everything up on the table, and I'm going to show you how to repair this. All right, we got a little table here to work on. We have our fending Joy-Con. We have our toolkit. I'm going to put a link in the description in case anybody's looking for this exact same toolkit. May as well throw a link down there for a Switch and a replacement Joy-Con in case you see me do this and decide I am not going to do that. Alright, so the kit comes with tweezers. That will help us disconnecting wires. Comes with the 2 Joy-Con replacement joysticks. Each one comes with 2 caps so you can replace them if they wear. Comes with a little bag of tools. A lifting spader, a spudger to pry things open, and a couple of very small screwdrivers. Now, there are pictures on the page when you buy this repair kit. They do show you and tell you what to do. But if you go look up iFixit and you look for instructions on repairing the Joy-Con, you're going to have a much better explanation than 4 pictures of what you need to do. I've done my research and I've looked at several different locations, and there's a whole bunch of tiny little screws in here. So we're going to get something to put them all in so I don't lose it. First off, we have to get the back cover off. You turn the controller over. You use the smaller of the 2 screwdrivers. That should be it. The reason these are important is that they're not normal screws. A Phillips has 4, like a plus. This is more like a Y, so you need the special screwdriver. We're going to take out the 4 screws on the back. For a tiny screw, it's actually very long. You're going to insert the pick onto the edge after you've taken all the screws out. Start at one end. Don't push it in too far. You could damage the motherboard. And gently twist to lift. And then you're going to open it like a book from the side. We put the spedger on. There we go. Now when you're opening this, make sure you open it from the side without the button bar so you don't damage anything. Next, we're going to take the spudger and we're going to gently lift out the connector for the battery. Right there like that. Then you'll take your pick, gently insert it around the edge to lift that battery out. There was a little bit of tape holding it in right there. It's just a double-sided tape. I'm just going to leave it there. It'll give it a little adhesion when we put the battery back. Next, if you look inside, there are 3 gold screws that we're going to take out. Fortunately, the little screwdrivers they give us are magnetic. The little battery tray here should lift towards the ribbon cables and the Joy-Con rail, kind of like opening a book. Just be gentle. It will turn like a page. See? There we go. Next up, once you have turned the tray away from the rail, carefully, there is a very thin, delicate ribbon cable here. We're going to slide back. Okay. We have carefully disconnected the tray with the ZL button. We also have the left button here with the spring. I'm just putting it with my screws so I don't lose it. Next, we're going to remove the Joy-Con cable. There we go. We have carefully removed the Joy-Con cable. We're going to do the same over here for the other Joy-Con cable. There we are. We have disconnected the cable. And now we're going to take out the 2 screws holding the Joy-Con in. These 2 screws require the regular Phillips and not the Y screwdriver. And there it is, the offending Joy-Con. Now, we're going to do that in reverse. All right, we push the joystick controller back through. We position it in the same direction, and we're going to reverse our instructions and start by taking the 2 gold Phillips head screws our Phillips screwdriver. We're going to start to put this back. The magnetic screwdrivers definitely make it easier to maneuver these small screws when you're putting it back together. Make sure we get it sitted properly and all the holes lined up. As you may have noticed, I put a sheet on this table. I've found that putting a sheet under it is a good way to prevent screws and other dropped items from bouncing very far away. And when you're working with very tiny screws, you don't want to lose them. If you've been paying attention, I'm sure you noticed I dropped the screws. Now that we have the Joy-Con controller screwed back in, we're going to reconnect the cables for the Joy-Con. I've reseated the cable, tucked it all the way in. I'm just going to hold that in place with my finger. And you will notice right here on top is a little door. It's going to fold over and slide up like that, and that will secure the cable. Again, for the other cable, we flip this little black door up. I'm not sure if we can get a good shot of it. Right here is the black door. You slide the cable in. Then we're going to flip that door down. Nothing goes as planned. Nothing. I broke a part of the Joy-Con. I don't even know if you can see the part I broke. I'll try to show you. Right here, when you connect this, there's a little door that's supposed to fold down right here to lock it in place so it's not loose. When I was trying to fold it down, one of the pegs that held it in place broke. And I have the peg, but the part it was attached to fell away. Mind you, this is so small. I'm going to show it to you, but you may not even see it. It's resting on the very tip of the bottom tong. I don't think I can even get it to focus on it. But I can still repair the controller. What I'm going to do is secure this with a tiny bit of glue. Make sure it's in place properly. I'm going to use a Gorilla super glue. I'm not saying I recommend this, but this will fix it. Rather than lose the controller, I'm going to use the tiniest dot on the edge to secure the ribbon cable inside. If I ever have to repair this controller again, we are not going to be able to repair the left trigger button because I've superglued it in place. If you're going to do something crazy like superglue it in place, make sure you put it together properly. before you glue it in place. I'm letting it sit for a couple of minutes. I'll pause it. All right, we're back. I let that sit for a few minutes until it started to harden and hold it in place in the right place so I don't have to hold it. Nothing I'm putting together is going to actually touch that glue, so I'm going to assemble this and let it set overnight. The next step is to put the battery tray back in. We're going to be careful because the battery tray is connected to that trigger that we just had the super glue in place. Be sure you carefully line up the trigger as you install it, because the top trigger is going to help hold in the bottom trigger. Okay, once we have stacked the battery tray back in place, you need to make sure that the buttons in the front work and are connected properly. Once we know that they're all mounted properly, because they're held in place by this tray, we're going to put those small golden screws into the tray. If you need help to figure out which ones of these holes need the screws in them, feel free to go to ifixit.com and look at the pictures they make available showing you where the screws are. They are screwing into plastic, not metal, so don't over tighten the screws or you'll strip them out. All the way down, just kind of snug is good. Next, we're putting the battery back in. And then we're putting the battery back into the contacts. It lays on top and it snaps down into place over the two prongs, like so. Then the top gets folded back over, clamshell style. Look at that. Lights. It looks like a Joy-Con. All the buttons click. Now, I'm going to leave it on its front so the back is up. I'm going to use the Y-shaped screwdriver, and I'm going to reconnect all of these screws. Now, I haven't needed to use them, but I have noticed that these replacement Joy-Cons come with some spare screws. Just two. The spare screws are replacement screws for the outer casing. So if you lost one of the outer screws, the long, thin, black ones with the Y head, you do get two replacements inside the kit. Additionally, the kit came with two replacement thumb caps to put on the Joy-Con in case you've worn out or wear out the ones it comes with. Kitty did that mod to her Xbox controller. I'll put a link up here for you so you can see it. Last screw. I'm just checking the screws to make sure they're tight. If you happen to strip out a screw, or you strip it a little, or it's loose and won't stay in, unscrew the screw, put a tiny drop of clear nail polish in the screw hole, and when the nail polish hardens, it will help keep the screw in place. Handy tip. All right, now I'm going to put all my tools away so that I'll have them available in the kit in case I ever need to use the other spare part. I am going to hold on to the defective controller. I'm going to mark it with a black dot and permanent marker on the back so I know it's defective. Maybe I'll just write a D on the back so I know it's a defective one. But there may actually be a part in here or a thumb screw cap or something that I need later on. Waste not, want not. Okay, next we're going to get a couple of shots of the Joy-Con in action to prove that it's working properly. Well, as you can see, no more drift on the controller.